Well, good morning. I'm so excited to have you on. This is Cory Zadjel. He is the guy behind Sue Them and much more to his story than just suing people. We're going to talk about the world of law and how to actually use technology in law. We're going to talk about his story of overcoming adversity to find the role in life that was right for him and much, much more. So, Cory, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right,
Glad
so
to be here.
You're from Baltimore. Well, you're living in Baltimore now. You've come up to Podcast Row here in New York City to tell your story. To tell a story, let's give a foundation. That foundation being, how in the world do you become an attorney when you're the kid who is doesn't like learning, doesn't like the classroom?
Well, that's a good question. I would say it's not that I didn't like learning and that I don't like learning. I love learning.
Okay.
I didn't like the way people taught me.
Yeah.
So I was the kid in class growing up that nobody's parents wanted to have in their kid's class.
Okay.
I was a pest to the teacher. No one could learn. I didn't know what raising my hand meant, and if I did, I just talked while I did it.
Wow.
I was put in carols, which they don't do to kids anymore, where you sit in a desk, but there's wood all around you, so you can't see the next person next to you or in front of you.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was, they do that to kids now, and, you know, people would lose jobs.
Yeah.
But that was fine when I was younger.
Yeah.
And as I went through school, it turned out that I did have issues with learning.
Okay.
And I received some help thanks to my parents and reaching out to the school. And in 11th grade, I actually learned how to read.
Wow.
And comprehend.
Wow.
Prior to that, I was just a smart kid that didn't know.
Yeah.
I could read, but I didn't know what I was reading.
Yeah.
I went to 4 colleges.
Yeah.
I went to community college. I went the hard way, but I wound up graduating from the University of Maryland at College Park with a business degree.
Wow.
I knew I was going to own a business, but I didn't know which one.
Yeah.
I'd already owned 2 businesses by the time I graduated college.
Wow.
But at that point, I knew how to learn. And I thought, what is it that I'm going to do? How am I going to disseminate all of this power that I've accumulated with knowledge? And I wound up on a trip to Israel for a couple of weeks. And while I was there, I met a bunch of kids my age, let's call it similar intelligence levels, with a little more ambition in life.
Yeah.
And they were all going to law school, medical school, and advanced degrees. And so I decided to do the same. I didn't want a business degree, an MBA. I'd already gone to business school.
Yeah.
So I chose law because I had learned from research and talking to people that law school doesn't teach you how to be a lawyer. It teaches you how to think critically and how to analyze situations.
Well, and I think that that's one of the things that our educational system doesn't do well. It teaches people how to follow standards and forms and factors of how to live. I know for me, I can relate to that story, your story, because I had a similar situation where I learned differently than how they taught in the classroom. I had a hard time in 1st and 2nd grade. All of a sudden, because my parents were advocates and because we had a really good doctor and some other things, they went, you're not dumb. You just don't learn this way. So let's figure out how to shift this around. And so by the time I was in 4th grade, I was in accelerated classes for math and stuff. And then by the time I was in middle school and high school, I was taking, AP classes. And I get that. I get that we're not teaching our kids. We're trying to make it universal, and that doesn't work for everyone. So I can relate to that. Now, you find that you do love learning somewhere along the way. You mentioned there 11th grade, you're like, oh, this is how I read. This is how I understand and comprehend. You went to school for business. That was your first degree. Why business?
Well, I always assumed that I was going to own my own business.
Okay. Why did you always assume that?
Well, let's just say I have a small problem with authority.
Don't play well with others?
No, I play well with equals.
Okay.
And I play well with teams.
Yeah.
And I grew up playing team sports. I always team sports.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be the captain of the team.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a coach on the field.
Yeah.
I went to business school because I had already started a business when I was in community college.
Right.
And I'd say it was mildly successful for the amount of time, effort, and capital that was put into it.
Yeah.
But it was never going to be an expandable business.
Right.
It was a service business that was going to be local. And as much time as I put into it with a partner of mine, that was what we were going to get out of it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in a position to understand business more deeply.
Yeah.
And I did marketing specifically because I wanted to understand how to get what I believe is my good voice and my good ideas to the masses for the least amount of money.
Yeah.
And so I chose business school for that purpose. Right. I was going to graduate or not graduate from college, but either way, I was going to learn textbook style how people have run successful businesses and failed running what they thought were going to be successful businesses. I wasn't necessarily planning to follow that script, but I wanted to know what had worked and what had not worked, because in the end, I think what worked for one person very well may not work for another person based on their personality and what their business is.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I think that we're always looking for a system that's fail-proof. But the truth is that there are so many pieces that come together that create the magic of an entrepreneur. So for you, you then go get that law degree, and then you go work in the law industry working as an employee. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was like for you. You already mentioned that you want to be that leader. You want to be that person that's casting vision, that's creating the path forward. So how do you go from, I'm going to go into business. I'm going to take over the world. I'm going to be this tycoon of business to, I got my law degree. That was good. And now I'm going to go work for somebody.
Yeah. What a bummer. Well, let's go back to law school for a minute, because law school was a serious struggle for me, not the learning side. I had figured out how to learn.
Right.
I did great. I graduated with honors. I had no trouble in law school. But what I learned in law school was that the path that I thought I was going to take was not the path that I was getting pulled towards. Because I was toward the top of my class, I was being interviewed by large law firms.
Yeah.
I was being pulled in that path of huge salary, no life,
a little tempting here.
Never going to own anything. But I've never seen that kind of money before.
Yeah.
So I gave that a shot.
Yeah.
And the money was wonderful.
Yeah.
I will give big law firms that. They have that going for them.
Yeah.
They sure know where the money is.
Yeah.
But I learned very quickly, maybe 4 weeks.
Wow.
I learned that it was never going to be my life.
Wow.
And a lot of people get trapped into it. And every year they get an incremental raise, and it's a little more money, and they buy a nicer car, they get a big mortgage, and they can't get out.
Yeah.
They're stuck.
They've eaten the forbidden fruit. They've sold their soul to the devil.
And that's it. They better make partner at that firm, because I don't believe that they're ever going to leave and be able to get a huge corporation to come along with them.
Yeah.
They're in their sole practice for their national issues.
Yeah.
So what happened with me? Same thing that happened throughout my entire life. I couldn't hold a job in a law firm. I worked at 2 different law firms. I got great training, and they were on the smaller side. So it was a little more personal, but I was representing businesses, and it didn't feel rewarding to me to help a business keep money from from a dying person.
So let me stop you there, because it's, we say you were a lawyer. There are all kinds of lawyers. There's personal injury lawyers. There's corporate lawyers. What was the kind of lawyer you were? Because I think that helps inform a little bit more of this conversation.
All right. Well, I was a bad one.
Bad as in you didn't do your job well? Or
That's
bad?
right.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Because, and I did my job to the best of my capabilities for the work that I was doing.
Yeah.
But my heart wasn't in it, because what I was trying to accomplish in that job. So I'm a litigation attorney. I'm a trial attorney. But when people think litigation trial attorney, they think Boston Legal, whatever they saw on TV.
Yeah.
Something happens and there's an injury or someone's going to jail, and then the next day you have a trial in court.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like that at all. It is tedious, monotonous, repetitive work, day after day, recording your hours, answering to the man, and keeping people from getting money.
Wow.
And it just wasn't enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
But I did it to the best of my capabilities. I learned what I needed to learn. And then I transitioned to another law job where I was doing the same thing, except I was doing it for the people. And then it kind of clicked to me. I'm 4 years in. Now I see there is a benefit to what I've learned. I can use all this knowledge that I've acquired for what I believed and still believe is for good,
Yeah.
and help people when they're being injured by businesses. So I worked there for a couple of years.
So you flip sides. You were helping businesses keep what was theirs, and now you're working for consumers that are legitimately wounded by whatever. Maybe the Roundup case is a good example of that, where Roundup is causing supposedly cancer. Somebody comes in and says, hey, this isn't right. You've got to pay up for that. They go to whoever makes Roundup, and then all of a sudden Roundup has to pay for the cancer.
Right. So I want to be on the non-Roundup side of that case.
Okay.
All right. And I learned that when I switched jobs, and then I did good work, and everyone was happy, but it didn't take long before I started seeing things differently than the people I was working for.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah.
Taught me. I'm able to do now what I do because of them.
Yeah. But
we would disagree on things because just generally speaking, I want my decision to be the decision. And I've always wanted it to be that way. And maybe that's what caused me so much trouble when I was younger.
Yeah.
Is that no one would allow me to be the decision maker.
Yeah.
Now I have this opportunity to be the decision maker.
Yeah.
So I started my own law firm in 2009. And it was a slog. Z-Law LLC, intentionally named without my name in it, to be different than every other law firm in the country. I didn't want to have my name and then one day have 7 commas after it with other names.
Yeah.
Because that just looks like a bunch of guys and gals that are like everyone else.
Yeah.
So I named my law firm Z-Law LLC. It gives it kind of a mystique. It's a little mysterious.
Yeah.
You probably have to click through the website to find out who it is.
Yeah.
And to get the story. So I did that, and I was doing consumer class actions, which for most people that don't know, because everyone thinks they know what class actions are, but no one actually knows.
Right.
A class action is where one person who believes they've been injured goes in front of a court, files a complaint in court, and asks the judge if that one person can represent every other person who's similarly situated and similarly harmed, represent them in that case.
Yeah.
So that's a class action. And people think of class actions, they think of the 33-cent check they got in the mail that they didn't know about and they weren't going to take the time to cash.
Right.
Or the $7 postcard, the postcard that says if you fill this out and you return then in 12 months, you may get a check for $7.
Yeah.
That's what people think of when they think of class actions, but that's not my version of a class action.
Okay.
When I do class actions, I file cases to get people relief.
Okay.
To get them what as best as I can, what they deserve.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes what they deserve is 33 cents.
Yeah.
If you were overcharged for 2 cents of taxes for a year and a half, and the person gets you those 33 cents back, well, guess what? You deserve that 33 cents and the company doesn't.
Yeah.
So you should get that check for 33 cents.
Yeah.
And please go cash it.
Yeah.
Because 33 cents times 100 million people turns up to be a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
And it matters.
Yeah.
But you get a $7 postcard, that says you might be able to get $7 12 months from now. You're probably not going to fill it out. And if you do and you get that check, you're probably not going to remember you filled it out and you think it's bogus and you're going to throw it away.
Yeah.
That's not what we were doing in my cases. We file legitimate cases that can potentially recover real money for people. And I was pretty successful for about 8.5, 9 years.
Yeah.
Going strong. And there was a kind of over time, I realized that the tides were turning in favor of big business.
Yeah.
And so I needed to make a shift in the way I was doing cases. If you look year after year, the number of cases that I was filing was staying the same, but the number of cases I was winning was going down.
Right.
So what was the issue? What did I have to solve? What did business school teach me I needed to do?
Pivot.
I had to.
Yeah.
I want to continue to own my business.
Yeah.
And if I didn't pivot, I was going to wind up working for somebody.
Yeah.
Out of money.
So I want to fast forward a little bit. Somewhere along the way, according to the research I did, you won a U.S. Supreme Court case?
That's good research. It's 50% correct.
Okay. Which 50%?
The half that you were correct on is that I did have a case that went through the United States Supreme Court. Unfortunately, the part that you got wrong is that I lost that case
Oh, okay.
and didn't even get one vote on my side. 9-0.
Wow.
But it's a rather interesting story
Okay.
because the case itself was a case that no one else would have filed.
Yeah.
It's a case, I'm sorry, not no one else. No consumer attorney would have filed because most consumer attorneys, and I can tell you this from experience having done the case and having heard from many consumer attorneys telling me don't do it, believed that it was a non-starter.
Okay.
That the issue that I was presenting, I was going to lose, no matter what level I took it to.
Yeah.
But I already agreed to represent this person in a separate case. This was an overlapping issue. I won the first case. They were made whole in that case. I filed a second case for the same person and same group of people.
Yeah.
And I heard from everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean anyone who had an interest in making money doing these types of cases. I heard from.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
My answer is, I don't answer to you.
Yeah.
And I don't answer to other consumer attorneys. I answer to my clients.
Yeah.
What happened to my client was unfair and unjust. Whether the law says it's legal or illegal, someone needs to shine a light on it, and something needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And if it means me going to the United States Supreme Court and getting my butt kicked, that's what's going to happen because we're going to see it to the end.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Wow.
We lost. We appealed. 3-judge panel, lost.
Wow.
Petitioned the United States Supreme Court. Very few cases get accepted to the United States Supreme Court. It was an honor to be there. They accept the case, go to the United States Supreme Court, and 0 votes.
Wow.
And all the press that covered the result of the case talked about how it was Justice Gorsuch's first opinion. It was the second day on the court, first opinion.
Okay.
And they're talking about this conservative justice that takes away rights from consumers. And nobody called me to interview me to ask me what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I think.
Okay.
I think that if I can't get Justice Ginsburg or Justice Sotomayor or any of the other liberal justices to throw even a pity vote my way, then probably it wasn't a conservative justice that did that.
Yeah.
It was everyone that disagreed with me.
Yeah.
Not just the justices.
Yeah.
The 4 other judges that heard the case before that.
Yeah.
And every consumer attorney I had ever spoken to.
Wow.
But it raised awareness. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's going to do good things in the future as far as consumer rights.
Well, and that raises a good question because there's a difference between legally right and wrong and morally right and wrong. And we're going to get into that in the second segment. We're going to take a break right here. And we're going to get into a conversation about justice versus money, justice versus morality. And we're going to talk about that a lot more in a moment. Cool. How you doing?
Awesome.
Cool. Anything you want to make sure that we didn't hit so far that we get in the second segment?
No, I want to be able to direct people to my website.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. That's what we're going to kick off the second segment. We always kick that off right at the top of the second segment.
Yeah, this is great.
Yep. Cool. How's it going over there?
Good. 10, 26.
Yeah, so I got about 15. Yeah. Cool.
You're getting an extra 5 actually, so 10:45.
Okay. Cool. We are back with Cory Zadjel. There's a significant question that we always like to ask right here. People listening, they want to know, how can they find you?
Well, anyone who's interested in talking to me personally can email me directly at Cory, Cory, at suethem.com, SUETHEM.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but it's a little impersonal.
Yeah.
So I would suggest if you want to reach me directly, you come straight through my email that I answer, that I'm up until 2, 3 in the morning looking through. And there's no one who reaches out to me who doesn't get a response. It might be a couple of days, but I will get back to you personally.
And if you're listening, you can also just go to suethem.com to learn more about what they're doing. Maybe you are wondering if this is the right place for you. And so go check that out for sure. All right. We, in the first segment, talked a lot about your story. In this segment, we're going to talk a lot about more of the broad range story of law. And we're going to get into a little bit about your platform and what you're doing there at suethem.com. There is this question, and I alluded to it in the first segment, about justice versus morality. What is morally wrong versus what is legally wrong. And then there is the question of money versus justice, which is, let's be honest, a lot of the decisions today, whether it's in politics or whether it's in law, are money decisions. So talk to us a little bit about the difference of justice versus morality and doing the right thing, even when, like in this case of the Supreme Court case, you knew that, hey, this is probably a losing fight, but it's the right fight to do. You made a decision there that went counter to what other people said, but it was a question of morality versus legality. So talk to us about that and reconciliation of those two things.
Right. Well, so what I did in that case was I violated every principle of business learning that's ever been taught.
Yeah.
And that's how I own and operate my business. We are a profit-seeking institution whose first mission is not profit. We seek access to justice, and correcting imbalances that's been established through law.
So when you say justice, let's define what that actually means, because it is a fluid word that many people will twist into their own image, if you will. So what does justice really mean?
Well, when common law was converted into statutory law in the United States,
Common law versus statutory, what's that?
Common law was just judge-made decisions that created rights.
Okay.
It came from British common law.
Okay.
Come to the United States, they start having written laws that say, this is okay, this is not okay. This is the line between legal and illegal. And mostly it was criminal.
Yeah.
And that's almost all based on morality. What people believe is moral at that time is legal. What the masses believe is not moral becomes illegal. And then you come to more recent days, and that starts to show up in civil statutory law.
Okay.
And by civil statutory law, I mean business interactions.
Okay.
And where I get involved, consumer dealing with businesses.
Yeah.
Where is the line between what a business can tell you that they're going to do and not do?
Yeah.
What is the line between how much interest a business can charge on a loan and what is too much?
Yeah.
And a lot of that goes back to morality.
Yeah.
Is it moral to be able to charge more than 24% interest on a loan?
Well, a lot of people would say yes in the banking industry.
Banking wants no cap on interest.
Yeah.
24% in Maryland. And when people hear this, they lose their mind.
Yeah.
In Maryland, the law that most contracts are controlled by, allows for 24% interest to be collected by a bank on a loan.
Yeah.
But not just 24% interest. Then you can have late fees.
Yeah.
You can have pay by phone fees, potentially.
Yeah.
You can have refinancing fees.
Yeah.
Junk insurances can be sold with the loan.
Yeah.
When does it cross the line where the business becomes a loan shark rather than just making a fair profit?
Right.
And so the law is supposed to draw that line, and we think that it's based on morality. What is a fair profit for the business who should earn money for deploying their capital?
Yeah.
But what is too much, where it creates a situation where the person who's borrowing the money can't live a normal life?
Right.
So that's where we get involved. If the law is unclear in any way, we step in. My law firm steps in and says, okay, I know that your document says 24%.
Yeah.
But we don't think you're charging 24%. We think you're charging more because you've added junk fees.
Yep.
You're servicing the loan in a way where you're not applying the payments on the right day.
Yeah.
You're not allowing people, you're not processing payments correctly.
Yeah.
You're putting them on the wrong account. You're changing the order in which charges are made.
Yeah.
These are issues that we come across every day.
Yeah.
So that's the morality side. Justice is different.
Okay.
I think justice means something different to every person.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I think justice means.
Yeah.
Because I see it every day. I get phone calls, emails, letters. I have people crying to me who I've never met. I have people practically begging me to take their case. Because what they want is to be heard.
Yeah.
Winning is not justice.
Yeah.
Losing is not justice. Due process is justice. Getting a fair chance to tell your story to the person or people who get to make the decision about whether you are right or wrong.
Yeah.
We can't control whether we are right or we are wrong.
Yeah.
That's going to be interpreted differently in different situations by different judges or arbitrators.
Yeah.
But what I can give to people is the access to justice. And so I lose a lot of cases, and I win some cases. But no matter what, at the end of my representation, my clients always come to me and thank me for letting their issue be heard. Same with the case that went to the Supreme Court. Same with cases that I lose in small claims court.
Yeah.
Same in cases where I represent people pro bono, for free in small claims court. So I'll have a $20 million case. I don't treat it any differently than a $2,000 case.
Yeah.
What those people want and what I want for them is to give them access to justice. And access to justice is the reason that I created SueThem.com.
Yeah. So when the motivator for a business isn't money, but morality, how do you reconcile that? Because you still have to be profitable enough to actually keep the doors and lights on, doors open, lights on. So tell us a little bit about that, because there are a lot of people that take money to the nth degree. They're like, when is enough? And there's that question that's going on right now about how much should a drug cost? If you have a drug that's being sold in one country for $14, but in America is being sold for $1,200, is that just? And I think that's a good question, but it's all driven by greed and money, that decision. It's not about like, hey, this is what's fair to charge. So talk to us a little bit about how you reconcile that justice, doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing, when it's maybe not the profitable thing, versus the money that it takes to actually sustain a business.
Sure. Well, this is what I believe in my time in owning businesses is the fatal flaw in business school learning, is that profit motive drives everything.
Okay.
And that has to be the case when you have shareholders.
Yeah.
Because you have to answer to them. They've invested their money and you have to provide them a return.
Yeah.
I get it. But private businesses don't have to be solely profit driven.
Yeah.
And there are no public law firms that are public corporations that on a market where people can buy shares in, because lawyers have made it that non-lawyers can't own any piece of a law firm.
Yeah.
So there is no reason why the sole motive to a law firm should be solely profit driven. So what I do in my practice is I try to have a good balance of finding cases that can provide people justice, whether it's winning or losing, and also finding cases that I can win. And it's a hard balance. It's a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Because I would prefer to spend more time seeking justice for people and less time trying to make money.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing with my new venture is both at the same time. I'm giving a megaphone to the masses to seek justice at the same time, against the same business, for the same harm, without having to wait to find out what the result is.
Yeah.
And the difference being, it's just not rewarding. Even if you get a check in the mail for $250 and I provided you that check in a class action, you're going to be happy that you got that $250 check. But you're still unhappy that you weren't part of the process.
Yeah.
Was this the right amount of money?
Yeah.
Should I have gotten more? Do I deserve this at all?
Yeah.
I wish my voice would have been heard.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do now, is I'm trying to give everyone a voice individually to control their own destiny in what they believe their recovery should be and what injustice was served on them.
Yeah. So I want to pivot here and talk a little bit about SueThem.com, because you're reinventing how consumer class actions are approached through that platform. Talk to us a little bit about what SueThem.com does versus what a traditional attorney might do in that process.
Well, SueThem.com is a first of its kind legal technology platform that provides consumers access to justice against the businesses that harm them.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Class actions are a mechanism to cure widespread injustice.
Yeah.
But what's happening is that there's less and less access to that justice because businesses have inserted class action waivers and arbitration clauses in virtually every agreement, every contract that you're going to sign, every website you deal with. Any company that most of this country does business with has a class action waiver and an arbitration clause, which makes it very difficult to be in court and very difficult to have a class action in court.
Yeah.
So how do you provide people their access to justice when you can only be in court for one person at a time or be in arbitration one person at a time? You give them the possibility of filing their own arbitration thousands of people at a time.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing at SueThem.com. We file our cases in court, and we tell the court that we should be in court because we believe that's where the most justice is served. It's non-confidential. Everyone will find out the result of it. But there's still going to be some people, even if we get to the end, there's still going to be some people that don't cash a check, or they're unhappy with the result, or wish they could have done something differently. So with SueThem.com, we are placing any case that we file in court that is a class action, we're putting it on SueThem.com. And when you come to the website, SueThem.com, you'll look at what companies are up there, and you'll see if you did business with that company and qualify yourself for the case individually.
Okay.
And you will sign up through the technology that was built out by a team that I put together to sign up for our case.
Yeah.
But you're not signing up for a class action. So we're completely reversing the class action. What we're doing is we're taking each person and treating them separately, and we are filing individual arbitrations for each person that otherwise would have qualified for the class action that the business doesn't want to treat as a class action.
Yeah.
And we're allowing them to make the decisions about what they think their justice is. Maybe person number one in Hawaii believes access to justice is telling their story and getting a result, whether it's winning or losing. But person B in Pennsylvania might think access to justice is $1,000.
Yeah.
Well, that person can say, this will go away for $1,000. That's what I believe justice is in this case.
Yeah. It's letting a consumer decide what's right for them.
That's right.
And then pleading their case before the process to say, this is why $1,000 is justified. This is why a day in court is justified. Basically, what you're allowing people to do is opt out of being a class action suit and directly going to the process one-on-one.
They're coming straight at what the issue is for themselves and making the decision for themselves. And it's a unique opportunity for people because the general population doesn't know what's happening as far as access to justice.
Yeah.
I do because I've been there.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to keep a case in court. Now, I fight to the death to keep the case in court because in the end, I'm going to be able to sign up, let's say I sign up 5,000 people for a case. Mm-hmm. But that case would have otherwise had 70 million people who were affected by what happened.
Yeah.
So I provided potentially access to justice for 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Of the 70 million that otherwise would have received some type of justice through a class action.
But maybe not the right justice for them.
Potentially not. But the issue being, if I can get the justice for 70 million people, if I can place that before the court, then I do want to proceed that way.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone should have the access to justice. It's when the business decides it's in their best interest to shut the majority of people out. And generally speaking, shutting the majority out meant shutting everyone out except for the one person who filed the case.
Yeah.
Well, that person is going to go away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But if it's 5 or 10 or 20 or 25,000 people, I don't think that's going to go away so quickly.
Yeah.
There's going to be at least a couple thousand people amongst that 20, 25,000 people that are going to want to see it out to the end.
Yeah.
And in that process, we're going to find out, is it true?
Yeah.
Big business, did you do what we said you did?
Yeah.
Or are you just doing it and no one's ever going to know because you're stopping people from the access to justice that they deserve?
Yeah.
So in this process, we're not only giving people that personal decision, but we're also going to get to the end.
Yeah.
We're going to find out, we said you did this.
Yeah.
You have never said that you did not do this.
Yeah.
And in the end, in court, you're probably going to sign something saying that you're not agreeing that there was any liability or that we did this.
Yeah.
But if we have an individual arbitration or thousands of individual arbitrations and a person says, I'm not here for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get money in the end, that's great. But what I'm here for is to find out, did this happen to me?
Yeah.
This better not have happened to me.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out, did this happen?
Finding the truth. We're going to take a break right here and come back for rapid fire questions. Make sure to check out Cory at suethem.com. All right, Cory, we're back for rapid fire questions. We only have a minute, so we're going to fly through 2 questions here. First question is, what is one book you think every dreamer should read?
I would pick any book written by Benjamin Franklin, preferably a book that's a collection of his letters, correspondence.
Okay. What is one trend you're currently excited about?
Oh, wow. Oh, I don't know if I can answer that. I'm not a trendy guy.
Okay.
A trend that I'm excited about? Well, I love sneakers.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my feet are rotting, but I love sneaker releases and new sneakers.
Our final rapid fire question is, what is one dream you're still wanting to fulfill in your own life?
That's an awesome question. Since I was a kid, I wanted to play drums.
Oh, okay.
And I just started taking drum lessons 3 weeks ago. I'm a train wreck. And it's not easy learning when you're an adult.
No.
But man, I'm going to learn how to play drums, and I'm going to force people to watch me play.
That's awesome. As we wrap up today's show, what's your final thought for our audience?
I want people to really consider, as they go through transacting with businesses, whether they're being treated fairly.
Okay.
Just think about it. Think about whether businesses are treating you fairly and whether government is making it so.
Yeah.
And if you believe that business is treating you unfairly and you think the balance of power is too far shifted toward business, then you need to raise your voice, whether that's through suethem.com or finding an attorney or calling your local legislator or running for office. You should do something about it.
Super cool. Thank you so much for taking time out and being a part of Podcast Row. It's great to chat with you today, and we can't wait to share your story and what you're doing with the world.
Thank you. It was great being here.